Time now for the Nick Hart Show. It's presented each week by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including A&T Concrete, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Agrigold, All Trade Solutions LLC, AM Transport, Engermeyer Electric, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Brett's Car Care, Country Barns, Nolcon Marketing, Davis Brothers, Daylight Land Management, Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Diversified Instrument Services, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, the Dunkel Family, Friends of Mason Scheller, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, Emerson Cattle Company, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Fort Branch Car Wash, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Full Metal Armory, the Grandmothers of Jackson Adams, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hobstadt Summerfest, Heritage Federal Credit Union, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Hillside Gardens, Hip Dentistry, Hoosier Pain and Posture, IMI Concrete, Engler Family Eye Care, Jarbo Tax Service, JMCO Technologies, Johnson Commercial Mowing, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm Agent, Kathy Solman Photography, Kiesel Wagner Survey, L&B Boutique, Little Miracles, Lowry Ag, Make Your Mark, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, MyTech Systems, National Vet Help, Perfect Climate Heating and Air, Pole Concrete Construction, by Pro Rehab, Rawhide Golf, Remax Revolution, Ripco Systems, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, by Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Shearer Monuments, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, by Tim Barge Seed, Tai Chow, Titan Construction Partners, Triad Fabricators, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, by Wash Boss, We Simply Clean LLC, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Young's Auto Body. Now, The Nick Hart Show, a special production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department and 89.1 The Bash.
Hello and welcome to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans. It's that time of the week again. I am here with Mr. Hart, Coach Hart, the man of this half hour. You're listening to the Nick Hart Show. My name is Wes Harness, alongside me, Coach Hart, and it is semi-state week. A lot of excitement in the air, and can't be any happier about how this season has turned out so far. But we've got just 2 weeks left. One more win for that shot to the state title, and it's close. It's almost time. But Coach Hart, how are we doing today?
Oh, we're doing great. When you're still playing and there's only 4 teams left, you're always doing great. So it's always a good day to still be playing this time of year.
Yeah, I've seen and we'll just say this is your 12th year, I believe, of coaching with the Titans. In those 12 years, including this one, this will be your 5th semi-state appearance. So you are no stranger to coming in and playing some of these big games. I know a few guys on this team were a part of that 2021 state title as well, so I know they're just as prepared. But before we get into that semi-state game against the Patriots, let's go ahead and talk about last week's game against Tri-West out at Liston at State Bank Stadium for that regional title. Gibson Southern getting that 38-21 victory over the Bruins, causing them to advance, obviously, to this game Friday against Heritage Hills. But, just a little bit of a smack in the mouth there by Tri-West against the Titans to start the game, making it 14-0. But then it looks like after second quarter on, the Titans really started to kind of fire on all cylinders, kind of take that punch and come back swinging twice as hard, able to get that big 38-21 victory. But, one thing I kind of want to talk about, Coach Hart, that 14-0 start, kind of what was going on there in that first quarter, and what was the click that got you guys to kind of get over the hump and really start putting the points on them?
The first play, not that, we talk about we got to limit big plays all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like I was like, super thrilled with it, but, we just kind of missed our fit, on it. They motioned the back out and got us a little displaced, where we shouldn't have been. And we kind of misfit the quarterback counter. And like we knew going in that the kid, was a terrific runner, had the ability to make plays. So where that wasn't the ideal start. I thought the second drive was more concerning, because they just kind of lined up and, ran it down our throat, which nobody has really done the entire year. So, especially when you're playing somebody that you don't, know, and you're just going off of film. That's when I was like, oh, this hasn't happened to us all year. That's not good.
Yeah.
This could be a long day. I thought our guys responded really well after that. And a credit to our guys of kind of competing throughout the day. I think when you get down like that, it's kind of easy to feel sorry for yourself. And and this group showed it, whether it was Boyle County or South Warren or whoever. We've been down before, and they've competed throughout the game. I think some of that lesson was well learned, and was a good learning tool for us for Saturday. But really proud of the way we responded and played the rest of the game.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I know, that first play score by the Bruins, and then that second drive, I think they burned off 9 minutes of 9 minutes of that first quarter with that second score. And I was, right there in your shoes with you. It's like, man, this is the one thing we were kind of prepared for, is they're going to power run. They're going to run it up your throats and try and control as much clock as they did. But yeah, definitely that defense started really coming alive in that second quarter with that 10-0 score. Didn't quite take the lead, but able to get some points on the board and get that ball in the second half. And then in the second half, it was just all Gibson Southern, scoring 14 in the third quarter, 14 in the fourth quarter, and Tri-West just getting that final score towards the end of the game in that fourth quarter with that 38-21 victory. So, your guys played phenomenal. There's a couple players we'll talk about. I saw some article titles, headers, put a bow on it. We'll get to Bo Rose here shortly, but what we'll do first is we'll take a little quick break, get a word from our sponsors, everyone that helps make all of this possible. And when we come back, we will get into more Tri-West Bruins, breaking down some of the players of the game, and then get into some brackets, and then next game against Heritage Hills. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back here on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash is made possible by Full Metal Armory, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Car Wash, ERA, First Advantage Realty, Rodney Langford, Emerson Cattle Company, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Jason Rainey, the Dunkel Family, Friends of Mason Scheller, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Diversified Investment Services, Daywig Meats of Hobstock, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Country Barns, Nolcon Marketing, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Angermeyer Electric, AM Transport, All Trade Solutions LLC, AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, and by A&T Concrete.
Welcome back to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans football team. You're listening to the Nick Hart Show here, and we just got a little bit of info here about the Tri-West game. Not done yet, though, before we get into next week's game. Big 38-21 victory. If you look at the stats, 405 total yards by the Bruins to the 369 of the Titans. I just say throughout the game, Gibson Southern was just a lot more efficient in moving the football. And then especially on defense as the game went on. But, one player I want to talk about, Sean DeLong, running inside those tackles, arguably one of the better, if not best defensive lines we faced this year, 4 senior guys all sitting around 6'3", 6'4", big bodies who, did a lot. That team had 80 tackles for loss on this season. So definitely a force to be reckoned with. But, offensive line, beginning of the year, this was our, our kind of, what's going to happen. This is our biggest question mark. But as the year's gone on, these guys have just gotten tougher and tougher and played so much better, and perfect time for him. But Coach Hart, how do you feel your effort from that offensive line in that Tri-West game was?
Oh, it was phenomenal. By far the best game they've played all year, especially considering the opponent. I thought their front seven was really good. I was I think we kind of talked about last week. I was a little concerned with, our running game going into it, just because of how good, on film we thought Tri-West was in their front seven. So, I thought our offensive line, was phenomenal the whole day. And we rushed for like 250 or 260, I think. And we had 2 big plays on shovel passes, which count as passes, but they're really a part of the run game. That would have probably taken that up to about 300 on the day. And so, it didn't matter who was carrying it, Sean, Tanner, Bo, our offensive line, those 5 guys along with Gunnar Alexander at tight end. Mm-hmm. Really did an excellent job all day of opening up holes. And, I thought kind of like our D-line, I thought after the first couple drives, they kind of settled down, and started feeling comfortable. And that really started to allow us to move the football again.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Both aspects, definitely best game. And I'm not saying the offensive line is, been the worst part, but it's tough for those guys, because those guys are the ones that get looked at the most, win or lose. It's these guys' faults. Yeah, but you got to understand how much work they are putting in still. But great effort by those, God's children. They're God's children for a reason. Some of the guys, Tanner Boyd, 88 yards rushing, did squeak off a touchdown. Sean DeLong didn't have any rushing touchdowns, did get that I believe he was the target for that. No, he wasn't the target. I apologize for that shovel pass. But did get the score there, or score on a passing route as well. But, Sean, 110 yards on the night, probably the hardest 110 yards he's had to run for this season. Talk about his impact in the game and through the air as well. 2 receptions for a touchdown.
Yeah. He was a big part of it. Obviously his rushing stats speak for themselves, but he had a big receiving touchdown that stretched it from 17 to 14 to 24 to 14. And in some of our empty stuff, they were other than one snap, were pretty determined when he was soloed up to not let him, be out there by himself one-on-one. So, that pulled another guy out of the box and opened up some stuff for us running the football out of our empty stuff. So, he impacts the game in ways that aren't going to show up in a box score, as well. So it was a great game by Sean. And like we've talked about a lot, I can't say enough good stuff about the way our offensive line played on Saturday.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by National Vet Help, by Tech Systems, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Make Your Mark, Lowry Ag, Little Miracles, L&B Boutique, Kiesel Wagner Survey, Kathy Solman Photography, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm Agent, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, Jarbo Tax Service, Engler Family Eye Care, IMI Concrete, Hoosier Pain and Posture, Hip Dentistry, Hillside Gardens, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Heritage Federal Credit Union, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, and by the grandmothers of Jackson Adams.
And then the last guy we'll talk, the put a bow on it. I'm seeing it all over the news. But Big Bo Rose coming in, our power back. He's our, I guess we could call him our secret recipe and kind of let him or chain him up until the playoffs come out, and then you unleash the beast. When you need a yard, he'll give you 25. So, Bo Rose on 6 carries, 73 yards, 3 touchdowns on the day. But Coach, we know what he's capable of. It's just wherever he's going to go on the field, he's going to be successful. But Bo Rose done a great job. Tell me a little bit about his effort, not just on the offensive side, but on the defensive side as well.
Yeah. We really wanted to limit his offensive snaps throughout the year because he means so much to us defensively. Then when you get to the playoffs, all bets are off. We had him, he the past couple of weeks, he's come in at running back some, he's played some like wing, and some empty stuff for us. He's a really smart football player, kind of like Sean, that we can kind of move around and use in a variety of ways. We had offensive linemen, playing on the D line, especially we got a little banged up on the D line as the game went on. Nothing serious, but those offensive linemen came over and gave us some good snaps there. When you get to this level of the playoffs, it doesn't, all bets are off on keeping guys on one side of the ball. But Bo did a great job for us. It's something we've been working in practice for the past couple of months, knowing that when we got to the playoffs, we kind of used him and Sean in a little bit of a thunder and lightning, type of deal. He did it some in the Vincennes game. The situation and opportunity just presented itself more on Saturday, and our offensive line did a great job of giving him creases, and when he gets downhill, he's tough to stop. So credit to him and what he came in and did, and credit to the offensive line. I think it's hard, on 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, to open up holes the way that they did for him. So credit goes all around, but Bo does a great job whenever he comes in.
Yeah, I agree with you there as well. It was that big 3rd and 1. I believe it was a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and short at least. But Bo Rose got that handoff, and it wasn't just nobody getting in the backfield, him running through him. Nobody touched him for those whole 40 yards, to really seal the deal for the end of the game. But can't preach on enough how well the offensive line played. Now we just got to let this game transition into this week, and hopefully with a win on Friday into the state title. But let's go ahead and look at this bracket for the 3A. I do want to bring up the 2A bracket as well. Got to shout out the alma mater for their semi-state appearance. But the final 4 teams in that northern side, it looks like the battle of the 2 undefeateds, 13-0. Knox taking on 13-0 Bishop Chatard. And then on the southern half, 2 PAC teams. Again, gotta give a big shout out to the Pocket Conference, big and small school. We've got 3 teams in the final 4 in 2A and 3A combined. So, this just shows what this Pocket team has been able to do. Every team is starting to play a lot more competitive, not just got to get through, regular season and sectionals, but what we are able to do in the playoffs. Can't commend this conference enough. It's been a while since we've had this many teams this far. But yeah, that's the 3A bracket there. Knox Chatard, and then Gibson Southern taking on Heritage Hills at Heritage Hills this Friday. And then in the 2A, North Posey going to be taking on Southmont. It'll be a Saturday game, 4 p.m., I believe. And then in that northern half of the 2A, Lafayette Central Catholic taking on the Fort Wayne Bishop Lures. So going to be some great matchups. Best of luck to the Vikings this week as well. With that, we'll go ahead and take another short break. And when we get back into it, we'll get into this Heritage Hills game coming up on Friday. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back here on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Perfect Climate Heating and Air, Whole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Rawhide Golf, Remax Revolution, Ripco Systems, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Shearer Monuments, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, Tim Barge Seed, Tai Chow, Titan Construction Partners, Triad Fabricators, TYFL, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Vicki Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, Wash Boss, We Simply Clean LLC, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Young's Auto Body.
Hello and welcome back to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans. This is the Nick Hart Show. Talked about the big 38-21 victory over Tri-West. We are now in the semi-state. 4 teams left in the 3A. We'll be taking on Heritage Hills. Had a big 31-28 victory. Kind of let the game get away from us. Let Heritage Hills sneak back in, make it a little bit closer than it was. It was just a 31-10 ball game going into the fourth quarter. But will be the matchup again. Number 2, 11 or 13 or 12 and 2, 11 and 2, 11 and 2 Titans taking on the 12 and 1 Heritage Hills Patriots, number 5 in the 3A. Coach Hart, what have you looking at scouting? Is there anything new we should worry about from this Patriots team? Or are we going to see pretty much the same team, obviously just a little bit better on their P's and Q's?
I think as the year goes on, things always change. They got a kid back on the defensive line that didn't play against us the first time. I think they're throwing the ball better. They threw it really well against us. I thought that kind of jump started their passing game, for the year. This sounds like a broken record, right? This is kind of who we've played, throughout the season. But obviously the Goldsberry kid at quarterback is very electric. They have big play threats on the outside, and he does a good job of pushing the ball down the field. We got to try and limit the home run plays. They have good players. They're going to make big plays. We just have to limit them. We can't let them continue to hit big plays, and I thought they did that against us the first time. They hit quite a few big plays against us. So you're playing a Heritage Hills team. They're going to run the football first. They're going to be physical. They're going to be disciplined. They're not going to make a lot of mistakes. And they're going to play great defense. And I think, as we kind of look at it, they've gotten better as the year goes on. I think we have as well. And so, a lot of times when we play them, you play them week 6, and if you turn around and we've always played them in, we haven't always been in their sectional, but when we've played them a second time, it's always been the sectional, and it's just a few weeks later. Well, this is now week 14, so we played them 8 weeks ago. So just things are different. For both teams. Not that we're in the wishbone or they're doing throwing it 50 times a game. It hasn't changed in that way, but things have changed. The game will obviously play out different than it did the first time. It always does. So that first matchup I think is almost out the window because it was so long ago, and it's going to come down to what team executes the best and takes care of the football and does all those type of things is what these type of games seem to boil down to.
Yeah, I agree with you. Both teams having a fantastic run into the playoffs. It's tough that two teams, as local as they are, have to finally match up again in the semi-state. But that's just the way football goes sometimes. But both two fantastic teams. I think that, we're going to see, you mentioned it, we're going to see a little more passing. We've kind of seen Jet get a little bit more comfortable in the backfield for the Patriots. I also believe that, with them passing the ball more, it's going to give Jet more opportunities to kind of find that sideline or kind of, make something happen with his legs out of a broken play, which he's been able to do pretty well. I'm trying to see, I'm looking at some game stats of this team, just as the season's gone on. But, I got to, on the way to the game Saturday, I got to listen to the ref 97.7. Got to hear the interview with Coach Wilkerson. And, with the 31-28 loss, they've got a chip on their shoulder. They're coming out. They've been putting this game on their calendar since sectionals had started. If there's a chance that we're going to play this team again and show them a new team, it's going to be semi-state. So I know these Patriots are going to be prepared. They're ready for this second matchup. It's going to be at the Jungle, which is going to make things interesting as well. I hated playing at the Jungle, not because, I have a dislike for Heritage Hills. I was just tired of hearing that darn train horn every time they scored a touchdown. So, let's limit the touchdowns. I don't want to have PTSD of this train whistle going off, but going to be a big one. Number 2, Gibson Southern. Number 3, quote unquote. Number 3, Gibson Southern taking on number 5, Heritage Hills. Game's going to be Friday at, is that going to be a 7 p.m. start time, Coach Hart?
Yes.
So
Yes.
7 p.m. start time, Friday the 17th. And also North Posey Southmont semi-state game going to be Saturday at 4 p.m., I believe. Being a, North Posey Viking going there through high school, definitely going to go to that game as well. So going to be a fantastic week for football, fantastic weekend. And it's semi-state. So everything's on the table. Sudden death, for the road to Lucas Oil. But before we get out of here, I did want to bring up Coach Hart. We did have some women's basketball going on. The Titans took on Chatard. How did that game go? If you got that.
Good. Girls basketball opened up. They're 2-1. They lost on opening night to Castle, and then came back and beat North Posey and Chatard last week. And with the win over Chatard, Coach Brasher got his 100th win as the head coach here at Gibson Southern. So congratulations to him and the girls for a great start. Obviously playing a really tough schedule starting out with Castle and Chatard there in that first week, and coming away with 2 wins, and then Coach Brasher getting win 100. He's done a great job, and we're excited for to watch those girls this year and see what they're able to do.
Yeah, congratulations, Coach Brasher, women's basketball team. Hoping for a fantastic season, a long run. You guys have got the talent. You can do it. But I think that's going to do it for our Nick Hart Show I almost said this evening, today. But one more time, excuse me, it's semi-state. Your number 2 Gibson Southern Titans taking on the number 5 Heritage Hills Patriots. Game's going to be at the Jungle at Heritage Hills Friday, 7 p.m. Everyone be there. I apologize also for, we've kind of had some bad audio on the broadcast these past couple of weeks. And I apologize. These have been some of the biggest games, and you can't hear everything I'm saying. We are going to figure this problem out. I think it's just a switch I keep flipping when I put it back in the case. So hopefully we will have those issues solved. I'm sure they'll get taken care of. But Friday the 17th, Gibson Southern traveling to Heritage Hills for a semi-state matchup. 7 p.m. start time. Everyone be there. If you can't be there, feel free to listen on 89.1 The Bash. I will do my best, as I try to do every week. But thank you for listening to the Nick Hart Show. Signing off. Everyone, see you on Friday. Thank you for listening here on 89.1 The Bash.
Thanks for listening to the Nick Hart Show. It's a special presentation of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including Young's Auto Body, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, We Simply Clean LLC, Wash Boss, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, Vertical Tile Incorporated, United Fidelity Bank, TYFL, Triad Fabricators, Titan Construction Partners, Tai Chow, Tin Barge Seed, Stodgel Monuments, Stodgel Funeral Home, by Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Shearer Monuments, Scherer's Carriage Inn, Sandy's Pizza, Roberts Boring, Trenching, and Excavating, Ripco Systems, by Remax Revolution, Rawhide Golf, Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, Perfect Climate Heating and Air, National Vet Help, MyTech Systems, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, and by Make Your Mark, Lowry Ag, Little Miracles, L&B Boutique, Kiesel Wagner Survey, Kathy Salmon Photography, Casey Gray Fuquay State Farm Agent, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, by Jarbo Tax Service, Engler Family Eye Care, IMI Concrete, Hoosier Pain and Posture, by Hip Dentistry, Hillside Gardens, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Heritage Federal Credit Union, by Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, the Grandmothers of Jackson Adams, Full Metal Armory, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Car Wash, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Emerson Cattle Company, by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, the Dunkel Family Friends of Mason Scheller, by Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Diversified Investment Services, Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Courtney Barnes, Nolcon Marketing, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Angermeyer Electric, AM Transport, All Trade Solutions LLC, AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, and by A&T Concrete. The Nick Hart Show, a special sports production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department, and your home for the Titans, 89.1 The Bash.